Hey y'all, it's Keith. The Wednesday Night Crits are back. This is the first one of the 2019 season, and so a lot of people have showed up. It's a big, strong field, and there's just intense headwinds blowing down the finishing straight, which are sure to split up the race quite a bit. I lined up right at the front of the race, and so when they blew the whistle, I decided I'm going to go ahead and do an attack right from the beginning. Not a super smart move given the strength of the field, but I've been working on being more assertive in races. My past several races I haven't done well because I just haven't asserted myself at all, and so this is my first chance at fixing that. But as you would expect, this move doesn't really go anywhere. We get pulled back pretty quickly. And after we get pulled back, Aston makes one of the first kind of counterattacks, and I'm still on the front. And I'm not wanting to chase that since I've been on the front for so long, but nobody else is just showing any signs of wanting to chase either. And so I figure, yes, I am on the front. That's not usually a great place to attack from, but I'll give it a shot and see if I can bridge up to him or bring the entire group with me. One or the other, most likely the second one. And you can see behind me, I don't really get the distance that I need from the guys behind me, and so I just end up bringing the whole group back. But then the counterattacks continue. This is just the theme of like the first 10 minutes of the race is constant attack, counterattack. And so a bunch of fast people had slid up the side there, and finally I see a teammate, and so Roman's there, and I go to jump on his wheel. But really, by the time we're in a headwind here, which is why I'm slow to catch him, by the time I catch Roman's wheel and can back off the power ever so slightly, you can already see way up the road there, the counterattacks are already starting. So I make the mistake of slotting in on the wrong side of Roman. I should have gone to his right, but here on the left, I'm boxed in, I'm stuck, and so David's attacking, I can't follow it, and so I just have to sit in and bide my time a little bit longer. So a few laps later, Mario's sliding up next to me, and he and the guy next to me both attack at the exact same time and just go whipping around there, and I'm a few wheels too far back to go, but then Seth goes, and so that's three super strong guys that I can't allow to be up the road, and they're going to catch two others who they were countering against. So I jump ahead and try and bridge up to them, and basically just the whole pack is strung out. We're trying to chase them all back. And it takes a little bit of time, it takes a lot of work, but we do end up catching them, and we live to counterattack again a little bit later. So again, later in the race, we've had a few more attacks and counterattacks go. Mario is making another run for it up there. The people around me are not wanting to chase at all, and so I just sort of slow drag back. And this is a kind of attack that Mario's really good at. He's good at jumping away and then just kind of holding his gap for quite a while. And so I'm just trying to slowly reel him back in. I don't necessarily want to sprint it back. And so I'm just trying to bring it back, and we're both on a tailwind here, so the speed's really picking up. But the people behind me are showing no signs of wanting to help. I've actually been on the front for a little bit, and I start looking behind me to see who's behind me. Why are the people behind me not helping? What's going on here? And basically they're just waiting for me to get tired out. And it's working. So they let me tire myself out, and so then David goes off to join Mario. That's going to be a problem if the two of them are up there, but at this point I'm too toasted really to continue working super hard to bring those two guys back. And so I'm just trying to back off a little bit to sort of telegraph, guys, I'm done chasing. And so then Seth jumps over, John jumps over, who else is in that move? Aston's right behind him, and Kyle Walker's right behind him. Like 7 or 8 super strong guys all up the road. I'm stuck on the front with no help, and I've been pulling everyone around the whole course for a whole lap, so I'm also quite tired. And then I check behind me again to see, where's help coming from, and Chris is here, and he spends pretty much the rest of the race right on my wheel blocking the chase because his teammate John Ryan's up the road. Anyone from Elevate's going to block because they've got teammates up the road. Anyone from Crest is going to block because they've got teammates up the road. So basically every other team except for United is in that move that's up the road there. And so really we have got to get it back. Unless we want to have 10th place as our best finish, which is what happened, then it's our responsibility to bring this back. And I don't have any teammates right around me, so I'm the one in the front. I've got to do it. And this isn't personal pride. This is just like, we're going to run out of options if our team doesn't work together to bring this move back. But they are starting to work together. I mean, like I said, it's 7 or 8 really strong guys up there. Chris is right on my wheel, blocking anyone from coming around to help. And so that gap is growing really, really fast, and we're getting into sort of a dire situation here. So I finally find myself with some teammates. Roman's in front of me, and I shout at him. I did it at least 3 different times. I'm like, Roman, get me up there, bridge me up, put me in the break, because everyone else that we're with already has teammates up in the break, and so they're not going to help. The only people who are going to help me are teammates or people who don't have anyone on the break, which is nobody. But Roman doesn't hear me, and we're running out of time. Like the clock is ticking before that group's going to be too far away to catch. And so I get an opening and decide to just go for it on my own. John McAllister hops on my wheel, which doesn't help me at all because he's got 2 teammates in the break, and so he's not going to help. We scoop up Jordan here. He does not have anyone in the break, so he might help. But in the course of really trying to make one last sort of Hail Mary pass at getting anywhere close to the group that's up the road here, we end up dropping both Brandon and Roman. And so the only people left with me are John from Elevate with a guy up the road, and Chris from RBM with a guy up the road, and Paolo from Crest with his dad Seth up the road. I've got no help, 0 help at all. And so I'm kind of out of options here. Like I could throw in the towel. I could just let these guys, do their blocking, and we'll just have the slowest race you've ever seen. Or I could just stay on the front the rest of the race and just try. And so that's what I ended up doing. I decided I don't want to just throw it away. There is maybe a tiny, tiny chance that the guys up front will slow down for some reason, maybe, but it's not likely. And so this view behind me is what I see the rest of the race. Like, I know that there's no reason for me to take turns with anyone else because they're just going to slow the chase down. The small amount of recovery might be worth it, but ultimately it's just not going to pay off. And so it's me carrying around a lot of baggage for the rest of the race. I did manage to scoop up a preem somehow in there. I got $10 out of it, so that was pretty cool. But after letting me sit on the front for about 20 minutes, Chris decides to attack, and John's right on his wheel, and Jordan jumps in that move as well. And I mean, I've been on the front for so long, I'm just toast. And so I give it a shot, but I just can't hang with them. And so away they go. I never see them again, and end up finishing by myself like 11th. They put 15th on the score sheet, but I don't know, between 11th and 15th, it doesn't really matter, so I don't care. And so the lesson learned from today is to not miss the break. We saw, the group of all the people who ended up being in that top 10 were up the road from real early on, and it made the rest of the race really tough. In terms of strategic options, there was very little that I could do. I think in any other day, the motivation to try as hard as I did would definitely not be there. But that's the theme of this year's racing for me. I'm racing against a lot tougher competition, and so I'm expecting to win a lot less, but to learn a lot more. And that's what happened today. I learned some really valuable lessons. I learned some gotchas, some mistakes that I made, some things that I need to do better. I don't have a win to show for it, but I've got a lot of experience to show for it. And so hopefully I can parlay that into a better result next week. So tune back in then. Thanks for watching. See ya.